Imagine being so strong that the collateral of you fighting will wipe out half of the earth because you got a clone of yourself. You prove to be superior to the clone and pop that clone's neck with your own raw power, concreting yourself as the absolute best of all the supremes. Like, there's a lot of different supremes, but you're the top dog of all the different supremes. You simply battling your clone is like a worldwide news event to where people compare it to a war zone. Yeah, don't ask. There's like a lot of different supremes. Yeah, don't. The one I'm going over is apparently immune to the one weakness they all have, being immune to the effects of silver supremium. Characters with less than 70 appearances. Mean supreme. Oh, just another fictional character that got experimented on. But this test subject actually died. He was a long-lasting test subject, but he eventually became too powerful to where he really couldn't be controlled, coming back new and improved. Like it stated, like during the experiments, they said on for months, every time he came back, he was stronger, harder to kill. They even went as far as saying they was pumping enough electricity, chemicals, and radiation into him to contaminate a continent. Let's talk about the might of this Supreme. First off, Metal Doors he treats like butter. He's overpowered all kinds of beings. You know, tanks can weigh 30 to 60 tons. He can lift that kind of stuff up and sling it. Lifted decent-sized statues. You can literally attach a ship to him. He can drag it with his power. I shouldn't have to tell you that he can actually literally fly, but this can kind of give you an idea of his raw strength. If he can push heavy stuff at speeds faster than the speeds of light, that pretty much proves that's nowhere near his limit if he can move while pushing something super heavy this fast. That just gives you an idea that's nowhere near his max. It's pretty much proven he can lift hundreds or even thousands of tons. He can lift the entire citadel. Yeah, you do the math on how much you think this weighs. And yeah, he can lift that up. Yep. And this kind of proves that this is nowhere near his max strength that he can lift. Not only can he lift it while on Earth where it's gravity, but he can move it all the way to the moon, far distances, proving he can quite literally lift buildings with laughable ease. With all this strength, how hard do you think them hits are going to feel? I mean, he can already lift up things heavier than buildings. What do you think them hits going to feel like? You know, he can even make his own shockwave by smacking his hands together to do a thunderclap, metal, or robots. He can literally go in that One Punch Man type status and one punch. The weight of his swings, yep, Marvel Gladiator, they cause shockwaves from his hits. He can hit hard enough, just like how he can lift buildings, basically. It's pretty much proven he can destroy buildings by accident, can punch beings through walls and buildings, clashing with beings in the buildings, blow up the building they're in. He can punch beings' heads off. They're not afraid to show off power gaps. Like, he will literally treat beings like Mortal Kombat fatalities, finish him type status. Did I fail to mention he has energy projection, aka blast power, to where he can shake entire buildings with it too, and cause all this destruction with his blast, lifting heavy weights while turning humans into skeletons. He can hit hard enough to where there was like a meteor that was going to threaten to poison our water supply. He can bust up stuff like this. He can hit with so much force, thanks partly because he can fly at super speed and stuff. Part of this is because of his speed and strength and everything put together. He can create a big shockwave with his hits to where the shockwave is equivalent, or the hit is equivalent to a 500 megaton explosion. Keep in mind that the 500 megatons is 10 times stronger than the largest nuke ever, the Tsar bomb. Don't mind him. He's just casually hitting 10 times stronger than the strongest nuclear bombs. You know, just nothing new. I'm not even going to get on Marvel Gladiator's power level because I'm going to try to keep this focused on his universe, his feats. But there's occasions like this that kind of imply that this hit could be seen from space. Like, this look like on some continental side stuff. It's occasions like this that would imply that his hits are way harder than just 10 times the level of nuclear bomb level. I'm talking about being able to level the entire country based on this scan right here. Like, look at the size of this compared to like continents and stuff. Yeah, moments like this imply he can tremble multiple continents on the planet. If we're being honest, based on that scan, his punches will be able to do something similar. Definitely could delete a couple continents or two, you know? I mean, we've seen him punch Thor, but that's none of my business. Oh, yeah, he can hit so hard. Yep, he actually got a visual on-screen feed of him actually destroying a planet, by the way. So, yeah, he can actually destroy planets in collateral of his fights. Yeah, so his punches would crack the moon apart or just normal-sized planets apart, either or. Matter of fact, in Gladiator's opinion, he believes their fight would have destroyed worlds with an S, more than one, implying planet shattering isn't his absolute limit. Heck, Gladiator thinks their powers are too equal to the point where they could combat or fight for years. Point A, flying to point B level speeds. This is what you call travel speed. Supreme can use this speed during combat. Literally being mean, because like you see him literally blitz all these beings by flying towards them before they even know what's going on. He's using his flight speed in combat, making it combat speed. Fighting speed. All this strength I've already told you. He has this ridiculous durability on top of it, to where bullets are a joke, so that's why he just blitzes these beings And he kind of makes his hands look like helicopter blades, like speed. The way the artists draw this is definitely implying combat speed. How he can move his arms ridiculously fast. Moments like this pretty much prove my point that if he wanted to, he can move his arms like this and just pretty much blitz beings with his fighting or punching speed. His limbs can move this quick. No, guys, I'm not exaggerating. His eyes, his reflexes are this fast because he can literally look at the bullet as the bullet's flying, trace it. But most of the time, he doesn't even need to dodge because he's ridiculously durable and bulletproof. So then there's that. If this isn't considered speed blitzing, I don't know what is, guys. Like, they literally don't know what's going on, and you see the blur. This is probably the best example of speed blitzing in comics ever. Beings being completely helpless. It's literally stated, like, he can literally punch faster than the speed of light. So imagine him punching you like this, but each of these hits are faster than the speed of light. I mean, anybody that can fly around the universe and circle their way around, that's faster than the speed of light, if I'm being honest. If you can get anywhere, any good distance in the universe, like all these stars and stuff, like, yeah, different galaxies, you can get anywhere, that's speed. This is another scan of him being in space. Early this morning, so we got like a little time frame. It says, early this morning, Supreme confronted an army of terrorists at Washington, D.C.'s International Airport, resulting in a swift and brutal display of justice that left dozens of them either injured or dead. They literally narrate, now though all that is millions of miles behind, and in these scans, it doesn't look like he's using no spaceship, like he's literally flying. In a really short amount of time, he apparently flew millions of miles since early this morning. Oh yeah, him being able to fly through space like that pretty much proves he can survive in space, by the way. I mean, his body and stuff is just built different when it comes to durability. Like, he can withstand ridiculous stuff, like stuff that is capable of warping molecules across 16 dimensions, and his body can withstand this type of madness, the effects of the multidimensional phase shifter. It hurts, of course, but he's got too much perseverance. And guess what? Whatever doesn't kill him makes him stronger. He's gotten a fist fight with Omni-Man, gotten a slugfest with beings just like him, like Suprema. This right here can give you a really good understanding of his might. These two literally having the same powers or just punching power. How his body can withstand punches from this being, vice versa. How the weight of his swings can damage her, get the upper hand over her, to the point where it actually starts looking one-sided, to where somebody else had to come in and stop him. Like, that's how much the gap was. Suprema is the same being that can play kickballs with a star, guys. And when it comes to Suprema, the female Supreme, she said Supreme's arch foes are out of her league. This is important because the Supreme I'm going over today is apparently the mightiest of all the Supremes. And trust me, there's a lot of them. The fact that she said Supreme is out of her league, basically saying his arch foes are out of her league. And this one I'm going over today is apparently the most powerful Supreme of them all. Whatever she can do, he can do by default. Do I even need to remind you of the size of the Earth compared to something like the sun? Like, he's millions of times earth-shattering level, guys. If he can play kickball with stars. If she can hit this hard, then of course he can hit this hard. I mean, he's got to be millions of times past earth-shattering levels then. I mean, they use a different word here, but this basically means so. They said she can darning a black hole, like sewing a black hole. Like, these are the type of stuff Suprema can do. She can sew together a literal black hole, which kind of adds up with the kickballing stars feat. These beings basically hit harder than multiple planets landing on your face at the same time on the black hole ranges of energy output. Destructive power needed to destroy an entire solar system. His hits will basically be scarier than a solar system shaking explosion or a solar system shattering explosion, basically. And it still gets worse. The fact that she believes Supreme's arch foes are too much for her, and considering that she can literally lift a super heavy snow globe, something that has impossible weight, the weight of an entire universe. And this is who Mean Supreme is slugfesting with, taking her hits and even overpowered her. And this is apparently the strongest Supreme out of all the Supremes. Doesn't even have the same weaknesses as the other Supremes. By default, he should be able to lift the universe, or one could even argue lift the weight of the universe plus more weight than normal, since he's above the average Supreme. And with all this strength, just imagine what his hits would feel like, or his punches. The weight of multiple galaxies landing on your face, billions and trillions of galaxies landing on your face, the weight of the universe landing in your face. That's how his punches technically should feel like. The pressure of his punches should feel like. That scary thing about universe trembling might. I mean, even this universe agrees with the idea of speed is weight, because, you know, the faster you move at something, the harder you hit. This universe agrees with that. The Supreme stuff, like, they even say it. This is a different Supreme. I'm just trying to give you an understanding of the point I'm trying to make. Like, this not my opinion. This universe literally goes by that laws of physics of the faster you go, the harder you get. At light speed, your mass becomes nearly infinite. So yeah, speed is literally weight. I know I keep jumping back and forth to speed and stuff, but since he's considered the strongest or the most powerful of all the Supremes, wouldn't a good argument be made that he's faster than Suprema as well? Stronger and faster. That could be part of the reason why he can hit so hard. He would technically be able to achieve near infinite mass with his raw speed. Maybe that's why the universe shaking stuff makes more sense. Not to mention his muscle being able to support that weight just like Suprema. Beings like Suprema, who's inferior to like the different Supremes and stuff, she's even fast enough to Suprema can visit a few 100 billion stars in the Milky Way. Just like how it's stated, he can punch faster than the speed of light. He's astronomically faster than the speed of light, just with raw flying from point A to point B speeds too. I mean, the Supreme Universe is pretty over the top, with there being beings literally the size of galaxies. What did you guys learn new? Did you know Supreme was this strong? Did you know he had super senses that allows him to see everywhere he needs to see? You can literally be shouting at him from another planet and he will hear you, like super sense is super hearing. Let's just say when it comes to his improvements, he's gotten stronger over time and developed. Like I mentioned this earlier, but I'm mentioning it again. They fed him a whole bunch of pills, shot him full of experimental drugs, exercised him, exposed him to various levels of different types of radiation, monitoring his vitals for months and months with virtually no sign of change. More combinations, gained 10 pounds, strength increased 5-fold. They just kept on improving him. When it comes to his mind, not only his physicals got crazy, but his mind became effective with each dose. He can feel himself becoming smarter. Yeah, he's actually decently smart. Able to tap into the horizons of my mind and those of all knowledge. Filling his mind up with information came to an important realization. He's become smarter than the scientists. I was a genius tenfold by the time I'd ended the experiments. And he's kind of on some doomsday type status when it comes to adapting. Arch foes even talk about no matter what danger he's being put through, his body will match or alter itself to match the threat. He becomes as invulnerable as he needs to be when it comes to his durability and physiology. They call him a hyper being. They talk about his physiology or his physique. Nothing can penetrate his skin. His weight, mass, and density seem to be in a constant state of multi-level fluctuation. We couldn't begin to measure the range of his molecular power structure. He's off the scale in all categories. He's 4 to 5 times more powerful than anything our instruments have encountered. Respect Supreme. He can easily destroy planets, stars, solar systems, tremble galaxies. He can support the weight of a universe. Oh boy, respect Supreme. But before I get going, Supreme believes you should hit that like button right quick. I would really appreciate it. And thanks for the donations, everybody. Respect Supreme. Mean Supreme. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.